You're watching the Isaiah Factor Uncensored.
Welcome and thank you for joining us for the second half hour of The Factor Uncensored. The Essence Festival is normally the crown of summer events, especially for the black community, placing a spotlight on black culture. But is there a crack in the crown? There's a list of complaints, including Target being a sponsor despite the company's rollback on DEI policies. People are also upset about some of the musical acts. Lauryn Hill reportedly did not hit the stage until 2:30 in the morning, playing to a nearly empty Caesars Superdome. Some fans are asking if Essence Fest has lost the plot and tarnished its legacy. Joining us to talk about it, comedian and radio veteran Nate Todd Smith, CEO of Regal Media, radio personality KG Smooth, publicist Brigitte Waugh, and Sherry Hendrinos, owner of Boost Marketing, also into public relations and crisis intervention. So, KG, you just got off the plane.
Literally.
From New Orleans, from the Essence Fest. What was it like? Because when we see many of the videos, some of the venues appear to be empty. The city just didn't look like it had.
It didn't feel the same. It didn't feel the same. It didn't look the same, but it definitely didn't feel the same. And a lot of what the people were saying is because of the new leadership. I was there at the convention center Saturday, prime time, 3 a.m. Saturday afternoon. Normally that place is wall to wall. It was like a ghost town. I was shocked. I was really shocked. And so I don't know. Some folks are saying the acts. I thought that the lineup was pretty dope each night. Lauryn Hill being really late on Friday night, that wasn't her fault.
That's part of the course, though.
That's the norm. That's the norm.
But it's not her fault this time. They actually started egregiously late, and Target being a sponsor, the title sponsor, they know folks ain't doing that. But what they're saying is the ownership, that they are trying to do more with the African diaspora and with our Caribbean family and take away the black American culture that started Essence Fest in the first place. That's what the main conversation on the ground was.
And to take Caroline Wanga is the CEO, current CEO.
Yes.
What do you see as the problem here? And is there a problem in your mind?
In my mind, it's not. I hate the diaspora wars and everything, and I've been, seeing all these things and people talking on TikTok and all the different sites, and I feel like they're using a lot of words just trying to say African booty scratcher on the cool, like just being very negative towards Africans and people that are Pan-African, and I don't like that.
And really quick, for those who are wondering what we're talking about, many say it's more pro-Africa than it is Black American and the celebration of the Black American culture.
I mean, the lineup is pretty much all Black American, and I mean, if Essence was up for sale, like a Black American could have purchased it as well. So I think sometimes when things aren't working out or you're being evolving or, just change. Essence started in 1970. The first Essence Fest was in 1995. It is 2025. It's gonna look different. America's different. Everything is different, and I think it's a little bit, a little intellectually lazy just to say, it's an African that's leading, that owns it, and that's another one that's leading it, so they're trying to change everything. I saw the whole, Jollof versus jambalaya thing. When people always ask me growing up, what is jollof rice like? I would always say it's kind of like jambalaya, because I think everybody eats beans and rice. We season it a little differently, but I think there's a lot of ways to be together than separate. I think that's just a lazy intellectual argument.
I think that they could have named it something else, like the taste of the diaspora or something like that. But to make it like, they named it the Battle of Jollof, which was very big on the graphic, versus jambalaya in this small-ass font.
But was that one thing? Was that one thing out of 3 days? You know what I mean?
Sure,
At the Superdome, that was one thing.
Yeah, that was one thing.
And there's so many different activations. There were so many different acts. This one thing means that, Africans are taking it over. I don't really, buy that.
All right, Bridget, let's hear from you.
I saw different things as I was looking at, doing my own research, and it looked like it's a matter of opinion. Some people say they had a great time. Some people said that, it sucked. And the main thing that everyone said, though, is that Target, being the title sponsor, was a problem for them because we're boycotting Target. And a lot of people on TikTok and Instagram were like, you know, hashtag boycott Target, and how that wasn't right because it's like they connected it to Caroline because it's like she used to be the head of DEI at Target, and then now they're the title sponsor at Essence. That's for the culture, which is for Black Americans, if you will. And there's been a long time that there's been this confrontation, let's say, you know, with Black Americans and with actual Africans, because it's always been said that Africans don't like Black Americans because we're lazy or, you know, different things of that nature. So it just depends. I think part of that comes from that underlying current that's still there against, you know, with Black Americans and Africans as a whole. So I hate that they're disparaging us with that.
We'll continue in just a second, Bridget. We'll be right back with our guests. Stay with us. And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. We're talking about the Essence Fest and the issue that some Black people have with Carnival Cruise Line. So let's continue back with Essence. Sherry, when you talk about a crisis situation in marketing and your image, what should the Essence Fest do in order to address those who may be unhappy with the way things turned out this year?
Yeah, I think in any brand, you have to listen to your consumer. It doesn't matter what, you know, brand you are, and from what I'm hearing and from everyone, KG was there, you have to listen to who you're catering to. That's important because the point of this festival is to celebrate Black culture and Black heritage, and it seems like it's veering away from that, from what everyone's saying. Personally, I didn't go this year. I had people on my team that went that did say it was way slower, was not as busy, but in any brand, you have to know your audience, you know, and so you have to evolve with time, but still, if you're seeing your numbers go down, I think it was like 73% this year, then you have to adapt. You say, what are we doing wrong here to adapt to what our following wants, and you should, if you want to keep it going.
And of course, you have to acknowledge that to yourself, that you may be doing something wrong. Todd?
And she mentioned about evolving. The music has evolved. And we mentioned it off camera. A lot of those original artists, Frankie Beverly, God bless his soul, they have passed away. Back in the day when I would go with friends, I would go with my parents. There was always acts that everybody could relate to. Nowadays, you have such a interesting point in urban music where you have something that the young people gonna love, and some of the old people gonna love, and it's like no in between. You know what I mean? So some of the younger artists, like the Coco Joneses of the world, they're great, and I love them, but they might not have that long track record to have built an audience of young and old. So that's an interesting position for Essence to be in. The Princes of the world are gone. All these artists that everybody could
work. We had Maxwell. We
that's
had
true.
Baby.
But can the young
people?
we
had Jill Scott. We had Jasmine Sullivan. We had Patti LaBelle. We had Siren.
But also a lot of
do they get the okay, Summer Walker, but do they get a lot of those people, do they get the younger artists? Maxwell, I'm cool with Maxwell, but will a 20-year-old jam to Maxwell? I don't know. You know what I mean?
So
they're gonna be like, who the hell is Maxwell?
No, there was some young people at Maxwell. We were there.
A lot of these artists are very accessible online. A lot, you know, Boyz II Men was there again. Boyz II Men just came to Houston too. So it's like the accessibility is there, and so we don't have to wait to Essence. We can see them online. We can follow them. We can join their fan club, join their Patreon. There's so many ways to reach out to artists now. We're not waiting for the Essence Festival the way we used to.
Is there an affordability question as well?
I think so too. I think that, you know, there's a lot of people that have lost their jobs, or their disposable income is just not where it used to be. The price of a regular concert ticket has like quadrupled. You know what I mean? So if you're going to other concerts and then you want to put in Essence, I mean, the budget the finances ain't finances.
Okay, guys, go ahead, really quick.
To say, because the week before Beyonce was here, and everybody came from around the world to see her. So did they spend all their money to see Beyonce?
Right.
They couldn't afford Essence.
Because Beyonce will come through and snatch some bags.
Snatch all the tax refunds, all of it.
And now let's move to Carnival Cruise Lines. Many African Americans are saying that the company is creating rules to be discriminatory against them, like no fans when you're dancing. You know,
So if that's the case, so if that's the case about the fan, then that is racist.
Yeah.
If they say that, because it's regulated to a certain song.
Yeah.
However, if you can't say if one culture brings in the cucarachas, or you understand what I'm saying, you can't say that. You could just say don't bring in certain items or something like that. But I think the curfews and things of that nature, I think that's fine because it's a safety thing.
Yeah.
That I think.
And they had most of the rules I was reading before.
Yeah.
But I was asking KG, I'm like, did someone get hit in the eye with the fan?
Yeah.
Like,
That's the whole
why
thing.
did you change this? And I
They sound like gunshots.
You know, I mean,
There's always a couple that are just like a little disrespectful with the fans, where it's like, everybody having a good time, then somebody got to go get their big fan, and they just doing too much. And it's that one person, those three people, your cousins, Isaiah, that they on baby oil, they take it too far, and now we can't bring fans in.
But I think that these new rules, I think black people are fine with these rules. I think those rules are for the N-words.
But check it out. The complaints that I've heard from Carnival Cruise have come from black people. You know what I mean? A lot of the complaints people have said has gotten too ghetto. So a lot of this might be a response.
Because I'm paying my money, I'm here to relax. Yeah, I'm here to
enjoy the
party a little
cruise.
bit, but I'm also here to relax and party. And maybe I don't want to hear flat,
growing up, the cruises were very boring, so I thought they started to get more fun. I was like, oh wow, when I was younger and my mom took us on a cruise, it was very boring, and I thought it was a fun thing now.
Shuffleboard.
Yeah, I was like, oh, we could do that. Yeah, they should just
market
now they
two
actually
different
have
types.
these.
Yeah.
Or,
the
exactly.
Soul Cruise.
The soul cruise.
There you go.
They have
That one,
celebrity
and you have it for
cruises.
us that like to wake up and read the book
So the tank
while
top.
the sun's rising.
Breakfast cruise. Yeah, you know what I mean? So,
They have a lot of those celebrity cruises too. Like they have all
We're not
different
even
kinds.
celeb. We're just like calm and cool. I don't
I
need it to
mean,
be
you know, you have to
celeb.
pick
I
what you
want it to
like
be
best.
laid back because the celebs bring the fan people that just.
That's my.
We'll be
I like
right
doing
back.
that.
We'll continue
That's
this
fun.
conversation when we come back. Stay with us here on The Factor. Yeah, eyes have been put out.
I mean, somebody got hit in the face. I'm like, KG, what happened? Did somebody get poked in the eye? You know?
And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. Carnival Cruise Lines has responded to some of the criticism that they're getting from the black community, or some in the black community, saying these rules have been in place since 2023 and have not changed. All right, Todd, your thoughts. I mean, do we have some people in our community who could go too far, do too much?
people in every community
Yeah,
that go
goes
too
too
far.
far.
You know what I mean? And I don't have a problem with rules that make sense. You know, like if there's something that's a disturbance to other people, like Bridget said, when you target a particular song or you go after you're going after a particular group, that's where it's a problem. But if the rules are put in place because people of every race are complaining, to me that's not racial. Like if it's a noise problem, it's a disturbance problem, you have to respect other people, and they're there to have a good time, and but you have to respect their boundaries. So as long as it's not targeting one group, but it seems like a lot of times people do put policies in place that they seemingly target us. You know what I mean? So a lot of times when we're up in arms, I think we are justified because we've experienced certain, I've gone to clubs where they have different rules, different nights. You know, whatever I wear, the dress code is something different that day. You know what I mean? So it's targeting people who look like me, but we need to realize that there is a way to act in public, and that goes for every race. So if we're acting a fool, if some of us are acting a fool, it might not necessarily be about race, it might just be about our individual behavior. And sometimes, that's not a bad thing for people to check us.
Do you all agree with that?
Absolutely. Some people just gonna take it too far. You know what I mean? And there's just gonna be different types of groups, and it's a time to turn up, it's a time to chill. And there are always, like you said, in every culture, gonna be somebody that just take it too daggone far. And if you have those people that get other people to take it too far, it can just get out of control. You know what I mean? So unfortunately, something must have happened a few more times, and it's affecting their bottom line, because that's when everybody says something, when the money changed. So and now it's an issue, and it's their cruise line. They can do what they want. You can just go to another cruise line.
Sherry, if you had the opportunity to talk to Carnival Cruise, how would you have them address this issue? And you too, Bridget, as well, since you guys work in public relations. Would you have them pull the files and this has been in place for years, or at least 2 years already? How would you address it?
I mean, they definitely should have shown what was in place. The only thing I could see, and I was trying to look back, was the fan situation that we were talking about. I'm like, did someone get hit in the face? What happened to make you want to do this? Because Or if you were to implement it, let's say someone did get hit in the face or cut, right? And then address that and say, well, this is why we're going to change this. An incident happened, someone got hurt. You know, anything could happen on any cruise line. I don't know if you saw, like last week on a Disney cruise, a kid fell over the balcony into the ocean.
What?
So like a 4-year-old.
Yes.
And so, you know, you're going to have rules. I remember going on cruises being younger. My mom was always like, well, you'll be on the boat somewhere. You know, I'll find you later. And I was like, all right, Marianne, you know.
Old school days.
Yeah, that was back in the day, you know, and now, you know, some rules are different. But I do think that when you roll out a policy like this, you know, maybe address it. Why? You know, they've really not said too much about that, except for some have been in place. So I was trying to do my research to see what was in place. I understand the 1 a.m. thing and everything for the kids. That's kind of normal just in the city, you know. But I do think it should be addressed as to, like, this is why we're doing this, you know. I think it would have caused a lot less rift and misconfusion.
Yeah, and I agree with Sherry, because the same thing, if you put the policy out, then let people know why it was out there, what was said, and what made it go in place. What happened? Like, you know, Sherry was saying, because you just put something out there, then automatically people are going to have their own opinion. In the form of public opinion, they're going to say, okay, well, you're racist, or you're this, you're that, or why are the rules, like Todd was saying, you go to a club, why is it this time we're on the boat, and then another time it's not that, when it's a different group of people? So make the statements very clear, make it all clear so everyone can understand.
And KG, if that is a message, this company, and we don't know for a fact, that's a message they're sending to people in the black community or some people in the black community. If that is a message, what is the appropriate response to that? How do you respond? How do you act?
Well, I mean, you abide by the rules, or if you can bend them or get around them, you know, do what you do to, you know, continue to have a good time. Follow the rules.
Okay,
you know,
I was
unless
looking
you get
for
around.
spend your money elsewhere.
However, good luck Carnival Cruise with the Tom Joyner Fantastic Voyage, because them fans are going to be everywhere. They got Mr. Boots on the Ground that's going to be performing there. So where them fans at, they're going to be everywhere at Carnival. So you better get ready in October.
Rules going right out the window.
There you go. We want to thank you guys for joining us here on The Factor Uncensored.